Om Sri Vishwaya Namaha. Dear guests, gathered members of the diplomatic corps, honored members of parliament, respected elders, Panditins, and Hardik Pranam. It gives me great pleasure today to be able to address you and be part of this very austere group presenting on the significance of Hindu heritage. And it is a vast question with a significantly even more vast answer. You have heard many speakers talk to you about the inherent beauty, the depth of knowledge, wisdom, art and culture that is all part of Hindu heritage. I will take a slightly different slant on things and hopefully to provoke some thought amongst you. I'm by no means a scholar of Hinduism, but I would like to share some of the thoughts I have gleaned over the years in my struggles. There are really only three relevant questions, I think, for those of us who are struggling with this question in our current lives, and that is, what is Hindu heritage? And secondly, why is it still relevant today? And perhaps most importantly, how we transmit it. For those of you who have had the opportunity to study this at the feet of the many gurus and saints, to be instructed, to come by it almost by default, it does not cause or bring about any question within our minds. However, the question most of us struggle with is, what does it matter to me? How is it important to me as I walk down the halls of my grade school, as I walk down the halls of my high school, as I seek to explain myself and defend myself to my university colleagues? And indeed, how does it matter to me as I walk down the hall between my ancestors and my children? This, in a summary statement or picture, is Hindu heritage. It is a very common depiction that would be known to many of us. It is one that fascinates and shames us simultaneously. We all know it, we've all seen it, and our morbid fascination with it, sometimes bordering on the perverse, embarrasses us because we cannot explain it, we cannot expound on it. And so it remains a source of disturbance to us. The depiction is simply that of Mahakali standing with her foot firmly placed on the chest of Mahadevji, Shiva. And the mythology tells us of a time when the goddess became so enraged and her powers grew to such levels that it was verging on the destruction of the entire creation. And the only way this could be reined in and brought under control was the great God himself, Mahadevji, had to place himself on the ground before her and have her foot placed on his chest. How could this possibly matter to us? It is of importance because it simultaneously displays the mundane level of Hindu heritage and transpires the entire spectrum to the profound. We are perhaps more conversant with the expression of Prakriti, the energy which transpires throughout the universe, more commonly known and expressed as nature. And here in its more quiescent form is displayed rather as Ardhanareshwari. That's the depiction of God as half male, half female. Too often we get into problems because we become too lazy to speak properly. And the depiction is not of half man, half woman, but half male and half female. Hinduism, in its attempt, at least in my humble opinion, to bring some physical form and structure to that Om God, Parise Paranarayan Brahma, to that Supreme Almighty God, has its first representation as male and female principles. Unfortunately, today these terms are too polarized and too politicized and too mired in discussion and disquiet. And so it gets lost in baseless arguments amongst superiority and inferiority between males and females. There's no such thing in Hinduism, dear devotees. Perhaps the principle is better expounded if we turn to Oriental wisdom and talk about yin and yang philosophies. But it is no different. There is the male and the female principles which are necessary for completeness, which are balanced, which contain all of the energy, wisdom, and activity within creation and beyond. At the very mundane level, we see the expression of this within the Vibhav Samskar, the marriage ceremony, when there is cohesion, when there is balance between a male and female. And the expression of that divine begins in that unity. At the very mundane, and as it informs our social relationships, human nature itself, that aspect of Prakriti that relates to human behavior, when unbalanced, it finds itself expressed as discord and marital strife, relationship difficulties. The depiction that we started with shows that in order to restore balance, when one entity rises to higher energy levels, then the other entity has to become suppliant. It has to bow down. And in that depiction, it was Mahadevji. Too often, Hinduism is mislabeled as being chauvinistic and misogynistic and everything else. But here you have Mahadevji himself laying down before the great goddess Kali so that he can appease her. And many of those amongst us who are in marriages will know very well this behavior. It informs our expression, our responsibility to the environment, to nature around us. The rivers that are so beautifully described by Dr. Bhargavaji as our mothers, as they run in their incessant energy, they need to be contained within the banks to remain in harmony, to be useful, to be productive, to be helpful to us as human beings. When this becomes out of control and there is too much energy within the banks, then we have the potential for destruction and dissolution. When the unity of these two forces, the energy and the physical, come about, then it brings about harmony. It restores the balance of energy. It also informs our responsibility as humans to be mindful of our interaction with an environment. We spoke about Vihara before. For those who cannot be bothered with such lowly things, that find themselves studying at university level and have lost sight of the relevance of our heritage, we find expression most profoundly within thermodynamics and nuclear chemistry. Here you see depicted a simple fission reaction, the very basis of constant energy within the universe. Radioactive elements, uranium, plutonium, are bombarded by other particles, nuclear particles, neutrons, where they then divide and give rise to energy, which then bombards subsequent particles and creates a chain reaction. If not controlled, this reaction runs away with itself and brings about tremendous destruction. We're all aware of hydrogen bombs and atomic bombs. They are simple, small representations of what in Hinduism is described as pralay and mahapralay, when that universal energy becomes uncontrolled. When harnessed properly within a nuclear reactor, we find the expression of that very same reaction. With the insertion of the control rods into the reactor, the excess energy is contained and controlled. As we see that energy being contained by the control rod of Mahadevji, given rise to useful energy that can be harnessed and used to create simple electrical energy through steam turbines that can then be useful. Such is the depth, the width, and the profundity of Hindu heritage. It informs every aspect, every level of our existence, every stage, every part of our life. How does that matter to you and I here today standing in Canada? Hindu heritage is a very different experience when you grow up, when you're surrounded in what I call an immersive heritage. If you have the good fortune to live in India, to live in areas where there are large populations and concentrations of Hindus, it happens by default. When everybody gets up in the morning and goes to mandir, or they do puja in their home, or you have to attend Ekadasi, Bharat in the mandir, or you do Satyanarayana Gatha every Purnima, you never have the question as to why. Nobody ever asks you what it is you're doing. And so it is a very different experience to when you are displaced or an offshore Hindu, as are the many diaspora of Hindus that take place throughout this world. Diwali on the hill, you will recognize some of the players in that picture. It has been taken to the utmost heights within this culture, within this society. But it remains small, it remains limited, it remains exclusive. And too often, you see the depiction of Diwali as a simple, almost isolated celebration at a home. How then do we seek to then contain and then transmit such important elements? Well, as it turns out, the heritage, the Sanatana Dharma itself gives us the instruction. And the first element I would submit to you today is that of Gyaandeo Maharaj. It is our responsibility, each and every one of us, to pursue this knowledge. It is contained within our scriptures. It is contained in the many learned scholars and swamis, sant rishis that surround us. And it is most available today on the net. You literally merely have to lift a finger. But it starts with you and I, and it is our responsibility to inform ourselves. When you inform ourselves, then we transpire to bhakti marg, devotion to our family, devotion to those around us. As we take the opportunity to include our family as we perform daily puja, take the time to expound our knowledge as to why we do this and what the significance is of what we do. And finally, it transpires to karma marg, to take action as an active member of society, to include those of us around us in our celebrations, in our practices, so that we get to learn and transmit that which we have obtained. If we all take this up as a sincere responsibility, as we get to the end of that holiday, we can hold our heads up with pride and know that we have acquitted ourselves admirably. Anytime. Thank you.